Alright, real quick before the video does start, I do want to say this yet again. I am truly sorry that I did not upload as much over these past few weeks. I really do want to say I'm truly sorry. And it was due to the fact that my final tests for school were coming up. And now that I'm done with those, I promise I will try to upload as much as I can. And now that summer's here, I promise that I'm going to grind a lot. But yeah, with that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. What's going on, you guys? It's Rahul here, back again with another video, and today I am back here with the Who's Winning the Division series, for the NFL, and this time we got the AFC South. Now, I'll admit, it's not exactly the most exciting division out there, and in my opinion, it's the most boring division. No offense to any AFC South fans, but hey, we still gotta do it if we want to complete this series. But yeah, of course, before we get started, you make sure to like that little video if you enjoy it, as it really does help out the channel, and make sure to especially like this video as, well, I kind of took a mini break from YouTube, and after you take a mini break, your videos after, your first few videos after your mini break typically do not do well, and your channel kind of is in a slump, so it takes some time to, get out of that slump. So yeah, let's try to get out of this slump as quick as possible, and, make sure to just smash that like button if you enjoyed today's video. Let's try to get 6 likes on this video. I do believe we can get 6 likes, so yeah. Like the video if you enjoyed. I repeated that a lot. I'm so sorry. And of course, make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy the content on here, so you do not miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and it would truly mean a lot to me if we could hit our goal. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will finally do a face reveal. But yeah, with that being said, let's just get this video started. So the first team I got is the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts last season, it's safe to say, they were pretty good. They enjoyed a nice bounce back season as they went 11-5, and although they did not win the division, they were still able to make the playoffs, and they nearly they put up a good fight against the Buffalo Bills. So it's easy to see why they are on this list. Now, previous to, the NFL offseason, after the retirement of Philip Rivers, there was a big question at the quarterback spot, and people wondered if Indianapolis could make it back to the playoffs, given how uncertain the quarterback position was at the time. But they answered that question in March when they traded for Carson Wentz. Now, Carson Wentz, it's safe to say, he was in 2020. There is no denying it. He was terrible, alright? And so bad, in fact, to the point where he got benched by the Philadelphia Eagles. However, as bad as he was, there is no denying injuries and a lackluster supporting cast, and all sorts of factors contributed to him having his worst career season, and, also having a terrible season, alright? Now, Indy, it is a much better situation than Philadelphia, and that should all really help him, alright? First off, on offense, he's got one of the best offensive lines in the league to protect him. They got Quentin Nelson, who is easily the best guard in football, and they also got Ryan Kelly, who's one of the best centers in the league, and they recently picked up Eric Fisher to help fill the void that Anthony Costanzo left, as Anthony Costanzo recently retired. Anyways, we should also mention the fact that they got a fantastic ground game composed of primarily Jonathan Taylor, who is one of the best rookie running backs last season and is, bound to be a very good player, and Marlon Mack, who's also a very, on some teams he could be the #1 running back, and he's just a really good player. And the air attack, it's not exactly the greatest in the world, but it's still pretty solid. Michael Pittman Jr., his rookie season was alright, but he could definitely break out in 2021. T.Y. Hilton, he's not the same player he once was, but is still a very reliable receiving option, and they got Zach Pascal, who's pretty solid. The tight ends are also a decent with Mo Alley-Cox and Jack Doyle. So the offense is also pretty good, and we should also mention the defense, which will only do Wentz some favors, as they got a strong unit, including the likes of Darius Leonard, who's arguably the best linebacker in the NFL, DeForest Buckner, who's one of the best pass rushers in the league, Julian Blackmon, who had a Defensive Rookie of the Year caliber season, and Xavier Rhodes, who had a very he had a nice bounce back season last year, and they also got Kenny Moore, he's alright. And to make things even better, they selected standout pass rusher Kwity Paye in the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft, and that should make this defense even scarier. So it's just a very good defense, alright? They're also very well coached. They got Frank Reich, who's one of the best X's and O's coaches in the league, and he's just a really good coach. And to make it even better, well, he was Carson Wentz's offensive coordinator during Carson Wentz's 2017 MVP caliber season, and that should also help. He should really be able to help fix Wentz's mechanics issues, and I think Carson Wentz is going to be willing to learn under Frank Reich, as Frank Reich, again, he was the offensive coordinator of that championship Super Bowl winning Eagles team, and I'm sure Carson Wentz, is very fond of Frank Reich, and I'm sure he likes him a lot, and I think the fact that, the beef between him and Doug Peterson was a big reason why, the Eagles, self-destructed. We're not going to get into that, but yeah, Frank Reich is just, he's a very good coach. So this team, in my opinion, they have all the pieces to win the AFC South. It all just depends on one thing, and that one thing is how Carson Wentz plays. If Carson Wentz plays well, and maybe like his MVP form possibly, this team is going to be really good, and I think they could easily win the AFC South. The AFC South, in my opinion, is maybe the weakest division in the NFL. And I mean, the Colts, they are a really good team, and I personally think Carson Wentz will have a much better season in 2021, since you can't really get worse than, 2020 Carson Wentz. I mean, you can get worse, but I seriously doubt he gets that, worse than that. And I mean, the situation is just much better, and all I can say is that if Carson Wentz is pretty good, then the Colts will be a great team in 21. That's all I'm really gonna, put it at. Next up in the final team we got, I told you this division is boring, we got to travel through the 300 miles south to Nashville, and there we meet the Tennessee Titans. Alright, the Tennessee Titans, they are obviously the reigning AFC South champions, and despite, some big offseason departures, they still got a good team, and in my opinion, still got a good case to win this division and repeat as AFC South champions. Of course, they got one of the best offenses in the NFL, led by Ryan Tannehill under center, who, by the way, is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL. Arguably the best running back in the league in Derrick Henry, who is just an absolute freak of nature and is coming off a 2,000-yard rushing season, so good on him. And A.J. Brown, who is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Now the defense, well, it was bad last season, alright. Despite the fact that they were loaded talent-wise on that side of the ball, they were ranked 24th overall as a unit, 29th in passing defense, 19th in rushing defense, and 24th in scoring, and they had the worst third down defense, and only sacked the quarterback 9 times. And a big part of it was probably schematic issues that caused them to be this bad, or I'm not sure what, but I mean, I'm guessing it was schematic issues, since they had the talent to, be a good defense. It's just, they just weren't. If they can fix the schematic issues and, find out what's wrong and, just find a solution to them, then they should be able to be pretty decent on that side of the ball. Now, as good as their team was last season, there's no denying they had a ton of key losses, as I said before. They lost Corey Davis to the New York Jets, Jonnu Smith to my New England Patriots, Malcolm Butler to who they released to the Cardinals. They couldn't re-sign Desmond King in free agency, and they also released Adoree Jackson. So quite a bit of off-season losses, and that really did not do Tennessee any favors, alright? And those are some big hits. They lose out on receiving options and some pretty good cornerbacks. So yeah, as I said before, they were just big losses. However, at the same time, they were able to make some very nice, pickups, in free agency. They were able to get Kendall Lamb from the Browns, who was great for them in the opportunity in which he got. Bud Dupree in hopes of helping improve that pass rush. Janoris Jenkins to help patch up the cornerback position. Danico Autry in hopes of, also fixing the pass rush. And they also got Josh Reynolds in hopes of giving A.J. Brown some help in the receiving game. And all of them, they were really solid pickups. And in the draft, they added Caleb Farley, Dylan Radunz, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, hopefully I said that right, and Elijah Molden. Those were some of the good additions they had. So they got a really decent team. I really do think they have a very good high chance to repeat. It really just depends on a few things. The defense and who their wide receiver 2 is going to be. The defense has to be much better given the fact that they lost some talent on offense, and it kind of might very well could regress, And because of that, if you want to make a run, you really just need a decent defense. And the wide receiver 2 is also important, because if A.J. Brown is shut down, then they'll need another go-to option, and you can't just always hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, since as good as he is, well, if your defense shuts down A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry, you can't really do anything on offense. But if both are good, they could easily repeat. But yeah, with that being said, who do I have winning the AFC South? But before we do get to that final verdict, I do want to mention the Texans and Jaguars, since, some people might get confused as, until why I'm not, putting them here, and I just want to go over them briefly. So, for the Houston Texans, starting out with them, I mean, I'm going to keep this short and sweet, or sweet and short, however you say it. I just can't see them winning the division this year. They are just an absolute mess, and I mean, in my opinion, will probably be the worst team in all of football next year. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, they made some nice pickups, and I definitely think they will be better than the one-win team they were last season, but I don't know if they can win the AFC South. But yeah, without both of those teams out of the way, who do I ultimately having winning the AFC South? Personally, I'm gonna have to go with the Indianapolis Colts on this one. Now, I do believe Carson Wentz will perform much better, as I said before, and if he performs well, Indianapolis is going to be a much better team, and in my opinion, a very good team, that's what I should say. In my opinion, as I was saying before, I think they might be able to be an even better team than what they were last season. First off, Carson Wentz, he's much more mobile than Phillip Rivers are. Phillip Rivers is like the Statue of Liberty in the pocket. So Carson Wentz will definitely open up the playbook a lot more for the Indianapolis Colts, and if he performs well, as I said before, Indianapolis will be a good team, and as I said before in the Indianapolis Colts segment, they have all the pieces. They got a decent wide receiving core, a pretty solid tight end group, a great run game, a great offensive line, and a pretty good defense, and of course, Frank Reich, one of the best coaches in the NFL, and that's just gonna make, Indianapolis is just very good, alright? And Tennessee's offseason losses are very concerning, and they just did not help their case at all, and that makes Tennessee kind of a wild card, and Tennessee could very well regress this, this upcoming season. But yeah, however, that is going to wrap up today's video. Again, thank you guys a lot for watching. It truly means a lot to me. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, and if you guys enjoy this type of content, make sure to subscribe so you do not miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. But yeah, with that being said, I'm out, you guys.